Okay, let's try a few examples of these together. So here we have, we're going to add our exponents, right? This is the product rule. So y to the negative 8. Now remember, you have 1 living downstairs. You do not want to keep a negative tenant. Your tenant is upset. You have to move them. So if you move them, what do you get? 1 over y to the 8th. You get the reciprocal. Okay? If you take the reciprocal, even look on your calculator right here. If you see this calculator, you see the x to the negative 1. Let's say we take 2 to the negative 1 power. What do we get? 1/2. We get the reciprocal. So as long as we never want to have a negative exponent in our final answer. You see that? Completely simplify. Okay, let's go to B. Who can tell me what the answer is to B? X? Yes, go ahead. Negative 12? X to the negative 12? Yeah? That's the power to a power. Remember, this is over 1 to 1 over x to the 12th. That's how we make that exponent positive. It can be a fraction, we just can't be negative in the end, in the final answer, okay? What about here, C? Whoa. Whoa is right. Okay. Right. So let's write it all out. 3 to the negative 2. T to the, what would this be? Negative 2 times, oh yeah, that'd be 2, positive. And V to the negative 2, right? So these guys are all roommates. They're all sharing a house. They're all sharing the upstairs together. Because who's living downstairs right now? Just one. Well, just one for now. Okay, anyone who's negative, I want you to jump ship. You don't have to live together anymore. You know when you have your roommates and you don't get along? Somebody's got to move out, right? So anybody who's negative moves downstairs. So who moves downstairs? 3 squared, right? That's not negative 3. Okay. And when v squared moves down there, he becomes positive. He's happy again. He's like, it's too hard getting up these stairs. I don't want to go up here anymore. These people, I can't live with them. Who's still living upstairs? T squared. Now you could write that 3 squared, probably you would write it as a 9. I just write too big, so I have to like squeeze it in. So let's just put a little line down here. T squared over 9v squared is our final answer. Okay? How could you simplify? Oh yeah, let's go into this one. This one right here, D. You got the packets, right? Okay. 4, what's anything to the 0 power? 1. 4 times 1 equals just 4. Oh, because otherwise it would have to be to the first power, right? If you have an xy to the first power, that's just xy. But this is to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Yes. Yes, the 4 is on its own, which is the reason why the 4 stays. Right. Yes, exactly. Okay, let's look at this one right here. If we write it out as expanded, we have x times x over x, how many x's? Oh my gosh, that's so hard to write all those. So I need a rule. Okay? Anybody want to tell me what you got? Tell me anything you got. 1 over x to the 6. Now, did anyone get x to the negative 6 when you subtracted 2 minus 8? That would have been, that's the same thing. If you got x to the negative 6, you would want to flip it, right? So we don't want this. This is not our final answer. We want our final answer to have a positive exponent. We don't want to let any of our tenants be feeling negative. Yes? So x and y right here, let's ignore the 4 for a minute because we know the 4 is in the end. Let's go back to this one. So x to the first, right? Y to the first to the 0 power. What was the rule that we used when we, do you remember the rule for power to a power on the last page? We multiply the exponents, right? So what is 1 times 0? So this would end up being x to the 0, y to the 0, right? But anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's where the reason why, anytime you take anything to the 0 power, it's going to be 1. So it doesn't really matter what x and y are, because if I take them to the 0 power, they're just going to be 1. So no, then this would still just be 1, right? I'm just showing why the x and y went away. Yes, equals 1. X to the 0 power equals 1. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Good point. Okay, let's look at this one. What about F? Who can tell me what they got for F? Don't overthink it. Yes, y to the 4th power. Because they're both being taken to the 4th power since they're in parentheses. Okay, what about G? 2 over x to the 3rd. 2 over x to the 3rd. Does everybody understand why 2 stays and x to the 3rd goes? Yeah, they're not in parentheses. 2 is fine where 2's at because 2's exponent is 1. It's implied, right? We don't ever see the power of 1. Nobody ever writes that. But it's implied. The 2 is fine. Leave 2 alone because it's not in parentheses. They're not a couple. They can separate, right? And now what about this one? 3x to the 5th. Okay. Any questions so far before you start on the next part?